So this is going to be about justifying your cover lines so they look nice and clean and neat like what you see here. Just who is that stud in the mirror? I've got stud real big, and yet the spacing between is nice and even. They're aligned nicely on the edges. So let's come over to our sample, and I've typed out just who is that stud in the mirror. Regular, I've capitalized stud, but I didn't capitalize these other ones. Let me show you why. Once I have them selected, I can come up here and I can do all caps, and we'll make it larger so you can see better. Or I can do small caps, where if it's written regular, anything that's lowercase is a lower version but still a capital letter. I'm going to do all caps, and I'm going to change the font. Remember, we want to use a nice clean font, even more simple than some of the ones you see here. I'm going to use Avenir, and I'm going to make that Avenir black. Stud needs to be larger, maybe even larger than that. Okay, so we've got a couple issues here. We've got this big space, and we've got this gap right here. These actually line up pretty well because of my 3 question marks. If I had, we'll say, that situation where I want that to get lined up to make it more complex, which some of you might have, let's start by modifying this space right here. If I just select stud and come up to this baseline shift, it's only going to move that one, and it's going to leave the other one in its trails. So I can then select this in addition and move that up as well. It starts to get a little bit tricky to know where you're selecting, but it is still possible if you're paying close attention. I would just make sure you're on the right thing before you start moving or making significant changes. So now I'm going to adjust my tracking, and this one will take me just about over to the edge. This one, so you can see, I want to actually highlight this is what's in the mirror because I moved it up. This one I need to adjust that tracking as well, and that's pretty close. I'm going to make it white now so that it stands out more. Usually when in doubt, use white and add a drop shadow. But I didn't select that bottom one, so let's come back and select that. White. I'm going to deselect it, select the box, right click, effects, drop shadow. And again, I don't want it too heavy. Click OK. And that's not too bad. That's pretty close to what I had down here. It basically becomes a matter of adjusting your baseline, whether you want it to be up or down, your tracking, the spacing between all of the letters, or if there's a place where it's a little bit funny, then you might, between just 2 letters, adjust the kerning. Remember that from before, where you can have them closer together in comparison to the other letters.